Hi, this is Mali here. So a couple of weeks ago I did a drawing of this bird and today I'm going to paint it in acrylic. So after I transfer the drawing onto a 6x6 wood panel, I'm going to paint the background first. I will write down below the colors I'll be using. I usually start with the dark values, and in this case with all the different colors of the background. I want it to be just enough, just dark enough so the bird stands out. Basically, I'm going to combine different shades of green. Here I mix with raw umber to paint the darker parts. I'm very careful here not to paint the bird. Let's add more raw umber to make this corner very dark. And then I will be using also a larger brush to cover better and faster. All I need is a fuzzy background, so I don't care much about the details. I'm going back to my small brush. I'm very careful. I create smaller shapes, smaller textures, and now let's add some yellow to paint lighter values. I like to mix my primary colors. It's more interesting to get a different green by mixing yellow and blue. More brown here. I have to be careful now near the neck. I will do the same thing with a larger brush. I'm very careful here next to the wing. So it's a fun process because you don't think about the details. You just play with paint, try to create an interesting background with a lot of textures, and you practice how to paint something blurry. Here there's a small branch. I'm going to make it less noticeable than on the photo. Now it's time to paint this lighter part here. I'm going to paint the light whitish color. That's the base color. I keep covering the panel. Make this part lighter. Again, you practice color mixing, blending until you like it. Here has to be different and light so the little legs stand out. I paint what I find interesting on the photo, but I don't paint exactly what's on there. Not to mention it would be time consuming, and it's not the purpose of this tutorial. Add more textures here. The tail is dark, so I want to paint the background slightly lighter. Now I'm being more careful because I'm very close to the body. So it's not bad at all. I like it. I hope you do too. Just so you know, I don't use too much water in general. Here, I'm going to think, oh, it happens. I have to hang my canvas better next time. So I paint the branches. They're very fuzzy. So just a couple strokes, it will be fine. So I was saying that I rarely clean my brush with water. I like to keep different colors on my brush. I really find that it creates richer textures and color variations. And in this case, I don't have to be precise, so. And I keep using my, something I do often is using my wood panel or canvas as my palette. And I mix my colors and I blend them directly on the wood panel. That's where the magic happens. I'm not wasting my time trying to find on the palette the colors I want. I make all my adjustments directly on the wood panel. You understand better what you're trying to do because it happens in real time. You can compare the light values next to the dark values. And then because I'm using almost every time the same colors, I know what I'll get by mixing this color with one or two different colors. So that's the purpose of working this background this way. It's not just splashing the wood panel with colors. It's trying to understand what happens and what I can get and evaluate if it's going to work. I paint more closely to the body, like so. And now I'm going to keep covering more and more here and there, some highlights, mixing more raw umber, grain. I paint between the legs. I'm very careful when it comes to, when it's close to the body. I want to show more the brown branch right there. And now I think it's time to paint the body. The background is good enough. I will probably retouch it later, but let's paint the feathers now. It's going to be the same process. It's a mix of raw umber, burnt sienna, here I want to paint the background slightly more yellow so the grayish feathers stand out more. So it's all about that, painting different values, light, medium, dark, to make the different parts stand out. I realize that I haven't done enough light on the background. I'll do the same thing near the legs, because the legs are gray, so grayish dark, so it's going to stand out better. So there are small adjustments, but it's really going to help make the body and the branch stand out. So now let's paint the back, the feathers. I mix umber and blue and burnt sienna to paint the blackish grayish feathers. It's a loose painting, so I want to give it more of the impression, more an impression of the feathers than actually paint them all one by one. And that's my approach in general. Controlling the impression, but not make it loose like the Impressionists. I don't use black, instead I mix raw umber and blue. My cerulean and my raw umber will give me the dark gray I want. So I spread that all over the feathers. If you paint loose, it will actually look more realistic than painting parts clear. And you'll understand better when I'm done this painting. Basically, I place the base color or the base colors on the wing and then now on the tail. Again, I start with the dark values first. So it should be the black, the gray, the red, and the yellow in that order. The yellow values, the light values always last. I retouch the background so the tail stands out more. Like that. I don't use too much paint to keep my layers thin and sometimes transparent, sort of. Again, I like to create different textures and rich textures. So my layers underneath will show through or between my strokes.